Okay, well, I'm Linda Gunner, your president, and happy to bring you this program about committees. And we have most of our committees chairs here today. I'd like to introduce, well, at the top of my trade is Gretchen Lance. She is the communications chair. Can you wave, say hello, so we can see that you're there? Okay, there's Gretchen. And you can always put your, the committee that you represent in with your name. Okay, we've got Nell Burwell. I see her on the next row. Nell's our membership chair. Thank you, Nell. And we've got Colleen, legislative chair.
Hi.
Tama is sitting in for community service. She used to do that before, and she had a few slides, and so I thought that would make it easier. And so thank you, Tama, for agreeing to fill in for community service. And then Levita is our quality of life. She's got the seal behind her. And then we have Joyce O'Neill down here, one of the members of the choir. She is now the recognition chair. But you got a picture, so we can't like wave to you or anything. Anyway, she's down here on the bottom, so you'll be hearing from her a little bit later on. And then I'm going to go over the policies and the Constitution and Bylaw Committee. So the whole purpose of this is for everybody on this call to learn more about our committees and what they actually do. And it looks like most of these people on this call so far are involved, but maybe you're in a local and there's some other people in your local or in your region that might be interested. So you can go ahead and you can try to recruit some people, because one of the things that you're going to see later is that we really need to get more volunteers, more people involved, not the same people over and over again. Of course, that's what I was trying to do 2 years ago, but I don't know everybody. And so, Lena and I, we tried to reach out and to find some new people, but that's my big thing right now is to recruit volunteers, and then we need more diversity, because that's what I heard. So that's what we're looking for. And so if you know of anybody that might want to serve on one of these committees, let me know. There's a slide where it talks about that. And we will be sending out some type of like woo-hoo form or something, requesting volunteers. And so people can actually apply, turn the information and why they want to do it, so we can get some extra people. Like one of the chairs said, we can have somebody serve as a co-chair, kind of get their feet wet, kind of figure out what the committee's all about, so they're not afraid next time to take over. But sometimes we have people that they don't want to jump in and become chair. They think maybe it's too much. But if they can do it with somebody else, then that might really help. So we want to do whatever we can to get more people and younger people, some of our new members, hey, get them involved in these committees. And we'll be talking about those. So I guess we can start the slide presentation. And thank you, Julia, for taking care of this slide presentation.
Linda, could you move a little closer to your screen so we could hear you better?
Oh, you're not hearing me? Okay, I'll try to talk louder.
That's better.
Okay, I will talk louder. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Okay, we can start the presentation. So, okay, so go back to the other slide that you just were on. I guess it's the next one. Right. So these are the committees that I just went over, and that's why we're saying it's okay. I mean, for some committees, like the membership committee, they got a lot of work to do. Instead of having 10 people, maybe have 20 people. That might be a good idea. And get people out there recruiting and maybe divide the committee up or something. But we've got a lot of work to do. So the more people we can get to get the job done, maybe we can do a little bit more. The president appoints the chair of each committee. And then that person serves on the board of directors. but it is the region director that appoints somebody from your individual region to these committees. And many times the region director can't find anybody, so then he or she serves on multiple committees. And we really shouldn't have that. There's got to be somebody out there that we're just not asking, that we're just not reaching. So that's what we need. The region director appoints the region people for here, but then we're looking for other people. Like on the legislative committee, at times we have added people to it to try to get the job done, especially with the election coming up. That might be something. Then and there's other things as well. That we can divide up and get more people. Like we have friends of the communications committee. So we just kind of got extra people that I met who were interested and try to use them to the best of our ability and get more people involved. So then if somebody kind of drops off and doesn't do a whole lot, we've got somebody else to kind of fill in the gap. Next slide. And again, for these two committees, their region directors don't appoint anybody. It's basically appointed by the president. The president appoints the chair of each committee, and that person does serve on the board of directors. And so we'll be recruiting members, for that committee, and you'll hear about both of those later. But again, like we said, we need to beef up these committees. We need volunteers. Diversity is needed. Keep remembering that as you go back to your local. Okay? So we start with the membership committee. Next slide. And Nell Burwell is here in person, but this is her picture. So I guess she's probably ready to go to the next slide and start her presentation. Thank you, Nell.
Good afternoon. The main purpose, as we know, the focus of the membership committee is to, we are recruiting potential members, retaining, rejuvenating our members, because we know that members are our mission. Our strategic plan is as follows. Goal 1 is to implement our strategic plan, and we devise one and update it annually, and it is needed so that we can increase membership growth. Goal 2 is promote, as I just stated. We want to recruit, retain, and rejuvenate members. We want to keep an updated list of our membership resources, and they are located on the NCRSP website. Goal 3, we implement, and there is a membership campaign entitled Each One, Reach One. And we are doing this so that we can recruit new members, and it is an incentive for membership growth. And at the state convention, we have a drawing of the names of the members who have participated in that. Goal 4, to communicate with the NCRS committee. The NCRS committee now meets monthly on the last Tuesday of the month. And we also, if we are needed, we conduct workshops, and we're in the process of updating contact information of regional chairs, local unit chairs, and we'll definitely need communication between the region chairs and the local unit chairs so that we can be successful in sharing information, collaborating, and making sure that all information is going where it needs to go, and so that we can increase membership. Goal 5, to allocate funds for membership growth. Some of you may have been a part of the membership growth grant that is the evaluation and everything is due June this 15th. And so we are in the process of acquiring grants to help provide for projects and activities that some of the local units are involved. And we have some inactive local units that we are going to be working with also to become active. Goal 6, to identify the roles and responsibilities that I'll do in a few minutes of the membership committee and also the membership chair. Next. This is the responsibilities of the membership committee, their purposes: to develop strategies to promote membership growth, and you hear membership growth all the time, because when we know that we do have the members we know members deceased, they counsel or things happen. And so we got to steadily keep our membership growth going, but it's not nothing that we can just stop doing. To create and implement a membership plan, as I just stated, to make sure that we are building relationships and retaining members and recruiting. The responsibility of the committee is to develop goals for membership growth on both state and local levels, oversee membership recruitment efforts, and encourage local units to reach their goals. All local units should have goals on what they're trying to do in order to increase membership. Promote and monitor the strategic plan that we have in their regions and also among the local units. Provide recruitment workshops. Workshops are very important, and we have been involved in quite a few of those this year, past year, and we want to do more on Zoom so that we can touch more of the regions that way, because you know that travel sometimes is not possible, but I think that we can do better. We can do it on Zoom. Maintain and update the recruitment information in the officer's handbook. Serve as membership recruitment resources, as I just stated, and assist regions and local units as much as possible in identifying and promoting recruitment relationship building projects, things that they can do, activities in order to look at, what we need to be doing, how can we improve? Why are we not gaining members? What do we need to do in order to recruit?
Can you see the next slide?
Next slide, please. We can develop goals among, as I stated, some of this is kind of repetitious, but it is important. The more we focus on recruitment, projects, things that we can do, activities to be visible, we have to publicize ourselves in the community, because a lot of members who are retiring, they have no clue about this organization. They may be a member of NCA, and we're in the process now of trying to find ways, a process in which we can identify retirees so that they can roll over and become members of NCRSP. So we are doing a recruitment information update. Also, they maintain and update our local units membership shares, and that's the situation that we had at the beginning. A lot of local units do not even have membership chairs, or they haven't met. COVID has had a lot of backlash on some things now, so we're trying to observe some local units who still have not met in person. They have not met at all, and we're trying to get them activated so that they can start meeting, and so that they can recruit and also do some of the things that they need to do for their members. We also attend the NCRSP State Membership Committee meetings and attend an annual membership, present an annual membership report, and attend the NEA Retired Annual Conference and present a report. And because, as I stated, the key words, we have to communicate, share, and we have to collaborate among the local unit and the region chairs. And the region chairs are, as our president just stated, each region we have 1 through 7, 7B is our last one. Each one should have a region chair. If not, as she just stated, then we're asking the president to be aboard, come aboard, because if not, that region is going to be lacking a lot of the information that is very vital for them to be successful in their membership growth. So we are also coordinating, and as you see, we are sharing membership resources and strategies so that the regions and local membership chairs can communicate and know some resources that are available that they can use in order to recruit, retain, and rejuvenate members. Thank you, and we hope we have some of you that are interested in becoming more active, as we stated, with the membership committee.
Yeah, so I'm sure that there might be some people that, oh, you didn't have to end it, did you do it? It just goes to the next slide. It goes to the next slide. But I was just gonna comment on that at the end. The locals really need to have a membership chair. And so that is so important for the local presidents to get somebody. So that's the first thing. Another thing that's really important is getting your list updated. Some people, I know I was calling, actually in Wake County, I was calling for the PAC, and a lot of the numbers were wrong that I had. And so I had to get somebody to look at white pages and other things. So every local, and I know a team has been working on that. It's a big job, and we got 400 some people. But the whole thing is you need to really keep up with everybody's information. I think some people have changed their phone numbers because they're getting so many calls, because I probably get 10 spam calls or 12 a day. And, but you change your number, they're gonna find it anyway. So you might as well not keep the same number so people can keep up with you. Okay, we'll go on to the next committee. This is Colleen.
Okay, so I'll talk a little about the legislative committee. Okay, go ahead. All right, so we have at least one member of NCRSP who represents each region. There are a couple of regions that have two members who are on the region state legislative committee as far as region representatives. We meet regularly by Zoom and we talk about issues that are happening, make decisions about what we want to do as far as our legislative agenda, as far as things that come up with the state treasurer's office and with state legislature. And we decide ways to share the information out with our executive board members as well as you in your regions. Okay. So one of our roles is that we propose a 2-year legislative agenda. So we're finishing up our second year. So we will this summer work together to develop a proposed, or whoever's on that committee this year, to propose a legislative agenda. From that, we'll get input from our members as we did before. And then that committee will present it to the executive board for them to make a decision about if that's okay, if they want to make any changes. We also monitor what's happening with legislation and policies, things that will affect us as state retirees and also affecting future retirees. Because you look at our legislative agenda, you'll see there are some items on there that affect active people, but it will affect them when they're retired. We do share regular legislative updates with our members to let you know what's going on. It might come directly from me. It might come through Constant Contact, through your region chair or your local legislative chair. We are also responsible for maintaining the campaign for the Great Public Schools Fund. You recall that has been called PAC until the past year and a half. And we have committee members who serve on that. And we use our legislative contact team members. Many of you on this call today are LCTs. Thank you. And we correspond with our individual state legislators. Okay. So ways you can become involved. One is that you can be an LCT. By doing that, you'll contact, usually by email, a state legislator. It does not have to be yours. Sometimes it's helpful to do that because you can remind them that you're in that voting area. But if you've got a relationship with that legislator, it's fine to have that person to be your contact. And you can have more than one. As far as LCTs, we're adding more from time to time. I just added, one of the locals had their meeting yesterday and the person's contacted me and said, we've got a new LCT. I emailed her this morning and I said, these are your legislators. Who would you like? And she said, I'll take them. So she's going to work with both, which is great. So feel free to do that. We also got somebody who's going to be LCT for Phil Berger. So that's going to be another person getting in there and talking with him. So you can join that at any time. Just let me know. Serve as a local legislative chair. There are several locals who do not have an active local legislative chair. We'll share information with you. Your region chair will share information with you, but you'll just be the one who gets information, passes it on to your region chair. And then the region legislative chair, they represent the region, and that is chosen by your region directors and submitted through to the to president through that. And we have the Great Public Schools Fund, and all of you on this call, a lot of you are also our captains for that. We used to call them PAC captains. So that's another way you can do that to get involved. So feel free to contact me, contact your region director if you want to get more involved. I think LCT is a good way to be a part of what's happening. And most of you are already on other committees, but you're an LCT also. So you can wear more than one hat, and we welcome you to join our team. Thanks.
Colleen, good list. That's great. Okay, Gretchen. Gretchen Lamp is our communications chair, and she's muted.
Hi. Am I okay now, Linda?
Yeah, you're great.
Okay. So first of all, are there any folks in your local, or maybe you enjoy taking pictures when you're at meetings, doing selfies with folks? maybe you like to write, because we love folks who will send us pictures and keep us up to date with going on in their locals. So right off the bat, if you don't mind taking a picture, then we would love to have you on communications, because we're responsible for publication of the panorama. And that's done twice a year, usually in the fall. We try to get it out in about October the 1st. And then in the spring, because we need to let people know about the convention. NCRSP depends on regional and local committee members to submit the articles. So if you have something going on at your local and you do a project that you think others would be interested in, please let us know. That's how we inform locals and regions of the activities around the state. And most of you do some really good stuff to help not only teachers, but students. And we need to know about it, because you'll spark ideas with NCRSP also depends on the newsletter to inform members of important dates, like if you want to be an NEAR delegate, you have to have your information in by November the 15th. And about the state business, what's going to go on at the convention, or what elections are up, or are we doing something with the Constitution? Those are important items, and we need to inform people. Panorama also inform members of political and legislative issues. And it's been the last 2 years, we've had a whole lot of information about the COLA in the newsletter, and the fact that by not getting a COLA, how much money we've lost, and trying to make that part of our legislators' ideas, getting them to look at us as people who are important to keep on their good side. And then we've been working with Senate Bill 743, which you've probably heard a whole lot about. Next slide, please. We have had a real task with the website. Thanks to Linda's prodding, we finally have gotten the website updated. Thank you to Julia, who did a great job of revising and updating our website and getting it all up and running. So if you're interested at all in technical stuff, and you like maybe being part of the working on the website, that's what you can do on the communications committee. Kathy Palmer, one of our committee members, is responsible for putting meeting dates on. So if you haven't thought about putting your local or regional meeting dates, making sure they're on the website, so if people are going there, they can know, oh, the region 1A or region 1B, whatever region you're in, that meeting's coming up for the spring or fall. Julia, our webmaster, is always ready to teach those interested in website updating and design. So if you are interested in that, the communications committee can do special workshops. And we meet with the webmaster to stay current on site issues and what's going on with the site, and to discuss new ideas for its use in design. We all want to make sure that we have a website that people want to go to, that they find easy to use, and it has information on there that they can use. Okay, next slide, please. The Facebook page is our next big deal. So the first year we got the panorama updated. The second year we've got the website updated, and now we're ready to work on the Facebook page. Julia has done a prototype. You'll see an address there where you can go and look at the prototype Facebook page. The Communications Committee will be meeting later in May and looking at that. But I think a lot of people don't realize that when you have a Facebook page, you have to have administrators for it. Who makes the decision about whether something goes onto the page or not? That's what the administrators of the Facebook page do. And that will be something that the Communications Committee is really going to have to work on. There are important decisions to be made there. When you say what's going to be on it, it's what will be posted. We hope that not what's happening is just stuff gets posted like, oh, here, oh, there, but rather we have an idea of the things that will be posted and they will be approved before they go on the page. And the other thing we need to figure out is it going to be a members only page? If it is, then how do we know the person's a member? Are we going to be looking it up, or are we going to have certain questions that they answer? This is a lot of work. So we just want to be sure that whatever we do, that the Communications Committee has had time to look at it, review it, and make sure the Communications Committee knows what they want with the Facebook page and how we will be communicating with our members. So we love to have you. We are always looking, if you are ever a language arts teacher and love to do editing of student work, you will love editing your own members' work, which is part of what we do with with our Communications Committee. So let your regional director know if you would be willing to work as the regional chair, because then you keep in contact with your locals, getting the local information so it goes up the chain and it ends up. Remember, we're the middle pages of Panorama there, and find out great things. Kathy Palmer again also has been doing our updates on the different festivals that happen in North Carolina. Maybe you would like to be the person that reviews the AARP information that comes out. They're always having interesting articles. And those are the kind of articles that we can share in the Panorama. Or maybe it's something that we put on our website or on our Facebook page. So we urge you to please help find your voice in our organization so that we can make our voice heard far and wide across the state of North Carolina and even across the nation, because we do share our stuff with NEAR. Thank you.
Great job, Gretchen. Looks like there's lots of work for the Communications Committee. I know I've been on that committee too. So it's kind of like subcommittees, and then we take everything to the big committee. So that's a good area. And, you know, I'm going to be talking to the region directors, and
Yeah.
if you contact me, you know, I'm going to get your name up there and get you on the list. Okay, let's go to the next one. We got
Okay, and
oh, go ahead.
one other thing, Carol, real fast. One thing I want to emphasize is that we have members in their 80s and 90s, and we have people who have recently retired who are in their late 50s, maybe early 60s. And so we have low tech and high tech. That's another thing the Communications Committee has found to be a challenge. How do we make sure that we can touch members whether they have lots of tech skills or whether they are low tech skills? Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, communications is on the move. Okay, community service. We got Tama Bouncer. She was the past chair. And so I'm trying to think which one. Yeah, I've actually got some potential people that are on the committee that I'm going to be communicating to get a new chair. But we've got Tama going to present today.
Okay, good afternoon. The purpose of the Community Service Committee is to energize the local units by encouraging all members to volunteer in their schools and communities to address current needs and to cooperate with other organizations in the community on issues of common concern, especially responding to the specific needs of NCRSP members. And these opportunities can come through volunteering at schools or volunteering with possibly the hospital or other places where those hours would count towards helping someone. And then you have two categories. You have the category of education and the category of other. So if the hours that are volunteered would fit into one of those categories. Now going on, we have responsibilities of the committee. And that's encouraging local units to identify critical needs in the schools. And depending on the size of the county where you are would determine how many schools you would identify. If it's a community where there, or a county where there are not very many schools, may be able to provide some assistance with each one. But with the larger counties, it's really looking at which schools could possibly use the most assistance. And that may be volunteering supplies or time. And another way to do this is develop coalitions with other organizations in those communities. I know that Wake has partnered with AKA in order to provide winter clothing and schools for, supplies for backpacks. And we've also donated to Note in the Pocket and had an event where we collected items for the food bank, Note in the Pocket, and for a little free library. And the little free library was set up by Wake at at one of the schools here at Bug Elementary School. And the media specialists there make sure that the books are replenished whenever the number of them is low. And we had a collection of books from the members at the December meeting for that. Make sure that you gather ideas for projects that are done by locals so that you can create your own lists of activities and possibly share those with other locals in the state. Encouraging those locals, regions, and individuals to undertake service projects. It doesn't necessarily have to be a project that's going to be long-term. It may be one that has a definite beginning and a definite end. And then once that is completed, then it's moving on to the next one. Or it could be one that could go throughout the year, because I know with our local, we were asking for the items for the children's backpacks, kind of like Backpack Buddy, where they were collecting non-perishables that children could have over the weekend when they wouldn't possibly need food. And we just set it up at each meeting so that, our in-person meeting, so that those items could be brought in. Collecting the local forms so that you have whoever your community service person is for your local, making sure that the forms are submitted. And with those forms, those can be, at least have access for them, not just handed out at the first meeting of the year and then they don't see another form, but just giving them access to it. I know that I make sure there's a copy of it with whenever I send out an email to the members regarding the monthly meeting, or if we're meeting in person, make sure that I also print it so that they have it. Now, in totaling the hours, that can be done in a small pocket calendar or whatever method the member may choose, and then putting those totals on the individual community service hours record that would be submitted in January to the region to the local unit, a direct community service chair, and then they would submit them to the region. Organizing and staff the annual fundraising event at the state convention. And this would be the silent auction. And volunteers are needed to help with that. And the location of the convention can also play pretty much a role in that, getting members who actually live in that area to help with the silent auction. and then recognize at local meetings, regional meetings, and state convention, the successes of community participation, which would be your top volunteers. And then the heart of a volunteer is not measured in size, but by the depth of their commitment to make a difference in the lives of others. Also, in keeping the hours, make sure that the members kind of figure out how they are documenting those hours, because even if a person has 2,000 hours, that means that if I did the math correctly, that over a period of 250 days, they volunteered 8 hours a day. And that is, I mean, it can happen, but it's making sure that once it hits that number, that that is a substantial number of hours for volunteering. So that would be the only thing. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot there. We might even be able to, I think the big thing is the silent auction at the convention that adds a little bit more to it. And it seems like we could maybe use some extra people on that committee, maybe help with that, or maybe some other projects that we might work on as a state organization. So thank you, Taylor, for always very organized. To go on to quality of life, and we got Levita.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Levita Weatherington, and I serve as chair of the State Quality of Life Committee. Next slide. As you can see, our statement here, part of this Linda has already explained in terms of how the committee is composed of representatives from the various regions, and I was appointed as the chair for the committee. And I believe that it doesn't stop there, but it also goes down to the locals, where we have a local committee representative, so that the information is going up the ladder and down the ladder at all times. And I'm not going to read all of that because I feel like that's already been covered. But it does cover there about how we submit articles to the panorama and share information. And that's a big part of what this committee is all about, is sharing information, whether it's for the website, social media, such as the Facebook page that's coming along, any channels of communication that are used by NCRSP are avenues for us to be able to communicate to our members. And we always want to solicit input from our committee members. And I call meetings either in person, by conference call, or virtual, such as like by Zoom. And for a while there, we were doing really good about having Zoom meetings, and we've kind of gotten away from that because there's been so many Zoom meetings going on, but we will get back to that. These are the charges of the committee that are given to us by the state to promote quality, social, economic, and physical well-being for our retired school personnel. Our members have well earned their retirement and the privilege and to enjoy that retirement. So we look at ways to improve that quality of life as they move into their retirement years, so that they will be golden years. We look to provide information on available services to address issues and opportunities involving the quality of life, such as health and wellness, welfare, personal and financial safety. So we really cover a lot of topics that are out there in the world of looking at how can we be cognizant of taking the best care of ourselves physically and mentally. That could involve getting involved in being volunteers, and also looking to protect and work on that financial well-being, so there's money to support you, so that's not a stressor in your life. And to promote the information regarding retirement transitions. And this may be an area where we may need to focus more attention in the future. It's been an area where we've debated about. These are our specific responsibility to monitor developments in the state health plan for non-Medicare eligible, Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security, and sharing that critical information with our members through the committee members, both on the regional and local leadership. So again, with I get information, I'll send it out to the regional members with the hopes that they're sending it down to the local leaderships to share. There's every reason to feel an expectation that every member of the Quality of Life Committee could be given a report at every regional meeting on some topic or another. I know I do in 7B. Gather information concerning elderly safety and health issues, and study proposed legislative initiatives in the General Assembly that will impact the quality of life of senior citizens, and keeping our members informed of the details of these initiatives and the committee's assessment of them. So I also serve as an LCT in that capacity to help give some input there to Colleen's committee. And the last part of this is work with other agencies on issues affecting the elderly, such as AARP, the Alliance for Retired Americans, North Carolina Coalition on Aging. And so we look to work with them as partners. We haven't done a lot of this in the past, but we are open to facilitating workshops in cooperation with NCAE on pre-retirement and transitional issues for retirees and potential retirees, and to promote member benefits available through their membership in both the North Carolina Retired School Personnel and the NEA Retired at the local, regional, and state levels. And that was a new one that was submitted, as you can see there, in June of 2022 for the board to approve. Next.
Yeah, if I could just mention something about the retirement workshops. NCAE is not providing any workshops anymore for retirement. They said there was potential legal complications, but Colleen is helping members just to kind of figure out their retirement. You know, she's not telling this is what you need to do, but she's helping to get the information so they can make their decisions. So we still do have some people, I think June Pearson also does that as well in her area. But that service by NCAE has kind of ended. They're not hiring anybody to replace Marge to do anything like that at all, because I've already asked at one of the board meetings, but I know you were unaware. And I'm really glad about AARP. We did have that meeting the other day, the 7 touches of membership, and we're going to keep in touch with those ladies and see if they can do some other workshops for us, and got some other ideas of how we can work with AARP. So that's good. We just need to keep up these coalitions and see what we can do with it.
And one area that I did not cover because it's not actually covered in the charges to the committee, but is something that has developed that we probably need to submit to the board for approval to be as part of that, is we have been working on this special project that we have absorbed into the quality of life called the Wednesday workshops, whereby we set up speakers for the second Wednesday of each month to speak on any of those issues that affect quality of life. And in some cases, it's been NCRSP related, such as our presentation pre-convention on parliamentary procedure with Roger, and the new business items with Betsy. And we also did a candidates forum prior to the election this year. We also have other topics that are coming up or in the past that we've done, like on the farmers market and how to eat healthy, and special exercises explaining about the Go 365, where you can collect monetary benefits from doing things with your Medicare Advantage through Humana. So lots of information that can be shared, and I'd like to see a lot more people participating in those Wednesday workshops. And we would love to have our committee hosting more of those.
Yeah, that's
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, and we do need to put that in there. So let's figure out how we can get it in there and get the document amended, because we should be able to take care of that easily. Just looking through the policy.
It just needs to be written up and submitted to the board for approval, I believe.
Okay, will you just take care of that? And
I sure will. I just made a note of it.
and then it's policies, so we send it to the policy committee. I think all the came out policies. But some of these things have changed. I bet we're probably gonna all these sections will probably need to rewrite. So you might need to look under your committee and figure what other changes need to go too. Okay, so we got recognitions, and Lena was taking care of this, and her goal is to find somebody. And guess what? We found somebody. And so Joyce O'Neill is on the call, and she's going to take over as the chair of recognition. And Julie has promised to help her, and with all the technology and everything, so they'll be kind of working together. And kind of like when I work on the legislative committee, I work on the communications committee. So she's going to get a little bit of help. And so we appreciate you joining us, Joyce. And this is kind of like Lena just, from what I understand, they had a meeting the other night and they nominated them. And so then she just said, well, you just go ahead and make this presentation. And so she's going to work right away, and she hasn't, it's like, it's like she's just jumping right in. So please welcome Joyce.
Thank you, Linda. Good afternoon. First of all, let me apologize for you all not being able to see my face. For some reason or another, the last couple of days I've been having video issues, so this is just my technically this picture is called my background. But at any rate, hopefully the next time we meet, I will have whatever issues that I'm having corrected, so you all can see my lovely face. So, and let me start by saying that it is a privilege and a pleasure to be able to work with Julia on this particular committee. And the only thing I can add to that I hope that I would be able to bring as much energy, creativity, but especially energy to this committee. But I am excited about this assignment, and I'm going to do the very best that I can to make sure that by our next convention, we're going to have so many entries that they might even have to extend the time that we make our presentation. So for those of you who are not familiar, the NCRS Recognitions Committee, our purpose is to create, maintain, and administer the statewide recognition program. The committee consists of a representative from each region who's been appointed by the regional leader to recognize and align programs and practices with the missions and goals that have been established by the strategic plan and the president's biennial goals in membership, legislative, communications, community service, and leadership accountability. We please excuse me. I thought I had muted my phone. We seek to encourage component areas of achievement to include membership growth activities, legislative activism, newsletters, media work, websites, volunteerism, group project work, and working with schools. Next slide, please. We provide accessible methods for all locals and regions to succeed and earn recognition. We recognize and reward all efforts to share every idea with every local and region so that we all can learn. We also want to create a brain trust, and that is basically just a list of projects and products that everyone, all of the committee's members can use, and allow every local and region to display its ideas and work. We are hoping to publicize the achievements on our website, on our upcoming revamped Facebook page, and in our news articles and publications. And we also want to encourage all of our members to come up with new ideas that we can further expand the mission of the Recognition Committee. To join the Recognitions Committee, you can serve as a local or regional recognitions chair, and then you can easily do that by making a bragboard, compiling a Betty Huffman notebook, making products and slideshows that display how your unit or region works towards our mission strategic areas of membership, legislative, communications, community service, and leadership accountability. What we would like for all of our members to do is to help make the recognition entries for your local and region, make sure that number one, they fall under the guidelines as outlined in our policy manual, and volunteer, because there's a lot of work that can be done, a lot of work that should be done. And we need people to volunteer to work as your regional representative or your local unit representative. We need people that would be willing to help with evaluating entries, and assisting in the awards ceremony, supervise the entries, the bragboards, and the Betty Huffman notebooks at the convention. So this concludes really the presentation, but I'd just like to add that one of the things that we want all of our locals to be aware of, that don't wait until the last minute to decide that you're gonna submit entries or work on entries that you want to be presented, judged at the convention. You really and truly, you need to start right now. You should have started in January for our next convention. So we're just asking that if you, when you go back to your locals, that you remind members that we are always doing things. Make sure that you document, take plenty of pictures. But the most important thing is to start working on it now, so that when because we're looking to have this information by at least the last of December, early in January, because it's a lot of work to be able to collaborate, to put things in the correct categories. And we want to make sure that we give everybody credit for any entries that they may have for the convention. And that concludes my presentation. I thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Joyce. Looks like that could be kind of subdivided up too if you had more people to help. And I know
Right.
that there were several region directors serving on that committee.
Right.
Okay. So policies. Go to the next slide. So we're looking for members of the committee. And so we'll begin sending out some type of Woo-hoo form. I think that's the right one. And I was calling you to get Tara to help with that. So anyway, we will be sending something out for people to volunteer. So, you know, kind of spread the word in your locals and in your region that we're looking for people here to review our policies. Because the policies that I have right here, the date on it says July 31st, 2018. And so we've passed some policies, but it has not been edited really in the document. So we're gonna have to go back and we need to make changes, and like I said, we might have to break up into groups. So we're gonna need some people to work on that. So if you're interested, not everybody's interested in all the wording, but probably if you're an English teacher. English teachers kind of like this because they like to go through and, you know, they can, it's pretty much common sense. Like some of the things are just old, like if it says you have to turn in your telephone bill, you know, that predates like cell phone. And it's when you had your home line, you made long distance calls and then you were getting paid back. And some of that's still in here too. So we just generally have to update this. We've got lives and pages that need to be updated. And it's common sense, but just send an email and tell, you know, why you're interested. So the Operational Policy Committee is expected to possess, review, and have knowledge of the approved and current operational policies manual. Well, I've read this many times, and it's hard to have all this knowledge still kept in your head. I'll point out a certain thing, but I know one thing that Carol brought up to me. She said, "Do we have to charge $10 for the leadership training?" And I said, "No, that goes back to when we used to travel around the state and we charged $10 for lunch." And so that way we got that money from the regions to help to pay for the lunch. If we traveled, we would have 3 meetings in the east and 3 in the west. So things like that, see, are outdated, just like the telephone calls on your home phone. So the main thing is we have to maintain the document. When it gets amended, we need to be sure that we have the minutes and we have what was passed by the board and the actual wording, and that all that's covered. So then we can give it to Tara to put it into the operational policy so we can amend it. So these updates are going to have to be given to the executive board for final approval and revision. Maybe they might not like it. Maybe they might make an amendment, but we need to take it piece by piece and see what we can do this next. We've got 2 years. 2 years I'll be president. This is one of my goals. Is let's get this into modern time. Let's put a date of 2024, 2025 on this, so we get this updated. So everybody can see it, because the operational policies are on the website right now. If you look under committees and their policies, it's right there. So there are 15 sections of it, so we won't go through all of them. But each of those sections we're going to have to review, update, and maintain. And so, I know somebody said we just need to start from the top, the first page. So I don't know. It's just like we want to go here, there, and everywhere. We've got to do it organized. We need to make some type of list. So the Operational Policy Committee could also get requests. It says from the executive board for new policies. It's like, we got Levita here that's gonna make maybe a request, so that could come in. And individual people can also point out something, send it in. And that's the responsibility of the chair to look at that, bring it to the committee and see what can be done. Or maybe not done, if it's not appropriate spending. Is there another page? Okay, that's it. Okay, so the policy committee, that's policy committee. Okay, so now we're going to the Constitution and bylaws. And, the Constitution and bylaws, we really worked on a lot in the last few years. The major update of the bylaws. There were pages that were put in there, supposedly from previous times. We got the bylaws and we might edit some things out. So, things were put back in there about different responsibilities, the president, the vice president, and everybody. But so that's it. And then the Constitution, yeah, and I'll get to the slide. The Constitution, actually, we looked at that, and you know, we have to take it and have it lay on the table and come back the next year and vote on it. If you remember, we voted on amendments to the Constitution at the last Representative Assembly in March. So these are in pretty good shape. We don't need quite as many people. Go back when I was kind of jumping ahead. So basically, I do need a chair for that. I don't have really anybody in mind. It could be you. It's an executive board position. So if you're interested, let me know if you want to serve on the committee. You know, I'm thinking maybe we kind of had like one person that was serving, and then the committee for policy would come over and help. It seems like this group's gonna work independently. Maybe 3 or 4 people could just take care of that. Because I think it's just maybe a few updates and that's it. Okay, so next slide. So we have to keep our constitution compliant with NCAE and NEA retired constitution. And so we need to bring, you know, changes to the potential of the membership for action through some type of amendment process. I know one thing, you know, we were finding something, I think that was in the policies, that the NCAE constitution covered in our constitution is not covered. So we're gonna have to be working with NCAE because they've been looking at our document to see what they're gonna suggest we change. So basically it's gonna be like the annual review of the 2 documents, prepare the amendments, to the constitution bylaws, you know, and receive, like the, any amendments from committees, anybody else that wants to turn their suggestions in, it certainly will be, accepted. And then to propose that, make a recommendation to the executive board, who would vote on it. I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot. But the executive board does approve the amendment recommendation and, to the representative assembly, but the executive board with the, so we're talking about the Constitution, okay. So if we have amendments like to the Constitution, then they would prepare they prepare those amendments, like Thomas Simmons was the chair of the Constitution committee, and so when they went back, and instead of having a vote on each individual thing that was changed, a lot of it was just kind of editing the document. But when it was a real policy decision, then we had to vote on that. And so it was first brought the year before in 23 to the assembly, and this was presented by Tom as the chair to sit on the table. And so you sit on the table means it just comes, you know, for 1 year, it comes in and it just sits there before a vote is taken. And then this past year in 2024, we made sure in each region that it was discussed for the various amendments, and it wasn't anything too controversial. And then it came to the representative assembly, and then we voted, and that was, we voted electronically on it. So that's the first time I'd ever done that. So that was really an interesting process. All right, so this is the end. So we'd like to take the slideshow down and just see what kind of questions people have after we've heard all this information. Okay, Gracie, unmute yourself and go
Yeah.
Uh,
I
Hello, Madam President. I am so sorry. I just saw the email, but there was a meeting, so I missed most of it. And I've just been appointed to the membership committee and the Miss Colleen, I'm working with her on the legislative committee. So I noticed it was recorded. So could I get with you or see the recording so I could catch up a little bit on that?
Absolutely, and you'll be doing it at the, the local level, and that's what's
Yeah.
so important, to have the local people. So we are recording it right now. It will be downloaded and Julia will put it on the website. If you
Oh,
go
good.
if you go to the website, you'll see each leadership training that we've had, starting from last Wednesday. We had the
Oh,
website
good.
training. Friday was the parliamentary procedure. And so every day she's adding that, so you can go and look. Now, one question I had, Julia, if two people can hit the site at the same time and see the video, or how does that work?
The link is there. I've put it into a YouTube. Therefore, and since I have a premium account, all you have to do is just press the link and it begins commercial free. The links are also displayed on the calendar item itself, so that you could view it that way. You could also view it on the prototype Facebook, and you could also view it through the links of resources and forms. So there's many ways for you to be able to see whatever it is that you missed.
Okay, well, that's great. Explanations are great. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I had the pleasure of meeting Miss Linda at the legislative meeting in Kinston last month. Hey, Julia.
Hi.
Okay. Okay, so LMC? Who is LMC?
It's Lena.
Oh, it's Lynn. It doesn't look like you. You get your haircut, or no, you pulled it back.
I just put my hair to the side. I'm just leaving work and I was driving. So I just now got home. But I'm so excited to see everybody on. We got quite a big number. And but one of the things I want to let you know that my role as vice president of NCRSP is to participate, be a part of each standing committee, each committee's members. So when we have committee meetings, I get an invitation to attend, and I am there for support or for whatever you need for me to do on all of the committees. So I want you to know that this is how we keep the communication as well flowing in the direction that where it should go, and any research or things of that item. So when you volunteer to be a committee leader or even on the committee, remember it is a statewide commitment, and it is you're not alone doing any of this. So just want you to know that. So I look forward to seeing many of you on these committees and meeting you there. And thank you especially to Joyce O'Neill for covering the recognitions committee. I'm excited about that. That's a wonderful committee. So I'm excited to know that the good things are getting ready to happen. Thanks.
So, you owe me, Lena.
I think she's only been a chair about 1 week. I had to call her and talk to her and everything, make sure she was okay. We had a good conversation. And Joyce likes to sing too. So thank you so much. That's a newbie here stepping up, so we want to support her and do everything we can to help her. Hey, Valerie? You're muted.
I don't have a question. Hi, everyone. I don't have a question, but I do have very good comments for you all. I appreciate what you all have done. I'm newly elected as vice president of the Northampton County, Halifax County, North Carolina school personnel, retired personnel. You all excuse my allergies are acting up. I'm okay. But I would just like to say thank you so much for posting the past recorded videos. I was a little concerned. I have been trying to get on since day one, and I thought I was left in the meeting room, but and earlier today we had our meeting, and I was informed by our president and newly elected president that you all had posted them on the web, and I'd just like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm also chair of the membership committee, and the information is highly informative, and I'm looking forward to working.
Yes.
Well, that's great, because I heard that you got like 5 new members this year. And
Yeah.
is that right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Vivian was talking about it. I mean, that's just great for a small local like yours. That's fabulous. Okay,
Yes.
Pat Regan. Well, welcome aboard too. Let me say that, Valerie.
Hi, President.
Thank you.
Okay.
My question goes to Ms. Tama under Community Services. There are 2 areas, education and other. Ms. Tama, can you give us some examples of other that we can record the time for community services?
Amy, you're muted.
I'm not muted, must be Ms. Tama's muted.
Tama's muted. That's what I'm trying to say. Tama's muted. I don't think she's hearing me. Tama, you're muted. You're muted.
Yes,
Yeah, you just got a question from Pat Regan.
okay.
Ms. Tama, you mentioned on the community services, there are 2 areas that you can record your time, education and other. Can
Yes.
you give us some other examples where other would fall under?
If you are, say, volunteering at a nursing home, if you are helping someone but not a family member, maybe taking someone to a doctor's appointment, those types of things, but not if you're tutoring or if you're volunteering at a school, that would not be under other.
If you're transporting persons to and fro appointments or shopping, does the time start from the time you leave home until the time you return, as long as you are busy work with that particular person, the client? When does the time start and end when you need to compute the total time?
I'm processing that because
Okay.
because I know we discussed this at one time about when it would start when you leave home.
Well, let me give you an example. I got a call today from a facility where they need to send a resident home from rehab, but she can't come home without caregiving services. My
Okay.
intention is to go visit and meet with the family in Cary to look at a schedule for help. Even though I need to meet with them, would my time start from the time I get in my car until the time I return, as long as I don't make any stops in between?
Okay, but you're meeting with the family.
To discuss a plan of action for implementing hours to work for the loved one when she comes home in 2 weeks.
Is this a paid position or volunteer? Only if you volunteer, not paid.
Well, I'm going to meet with the family, so this would be just information visit. The pay would start once she gets home, which I know that would not count as service hours. You can think about it and get back.
Yeah,
with me.
I'll need to think about that. That really needs to go to the committee to determine, because since you are preparing paperwork and working out that strategy with the family, that really isn't volunteering.
So what would it be called? Oh, just answer this. Could it be counted for community services? It can be just a yes or no, and I'd be fine with the answer.
I don't believe so.
That's
Because
fine.
I think I guess my thinking with community service is that you are, whatever you're doing, that
Providing a
is
service.
providing the service at that
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Tamma.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Oh, come on, you know you got some questions. Everybody waking up? Gracie's back. Okay, Gracie.
Okay, for instance, the training that we're receiving, is that considered community service, learning about our duties? Is that considered volunteering?
That is not, because when it comes to meetings, if you are actively participating in the meeting, then you're volunteering your time. But if you are there attending it, then that is not the same as providing a service.
Okay, now I don't know if I'd agree with that, but I'll go with whatever you say. I am new to my role, newly retired, and I'm learning, and I'm participating. So I'm not sure why that wouldn't count as some community service.
Let me give a better example. When you attend your local meeting,
yes,
and you're there as an attendee, but the president has a responsibility that moves that program forward, as does the secretary who has the minutes, the treasurer. And so but just showing up for the meeting is not considered volunteering, or at least we haven't considered that as volunteering.
Okay, I'll have to think on that. Thank you.
Okay, then, Ms. Tamma, I serve as the treasurer for my local, and I prepare the finance reports, scholarship reports. At what point does my volunteer time start? The time I'm presenting only?
When you're preparing them as well.
Good Lord, that takes some time, days, hours.
I mean, it's like a secretary who has a volunteer position. It isn't just the minutes showing up at the meeting, but the time that it takes to prepare those minutes. You're volunteering your time then.
Okay.
So can I piggyback on that?
Yes.
They appointed me to be a membership chair yesterday. And so it's for what I understand, part of the responsibility of that role is to recruit. So when I'm talking to other retirees in the community, that's not considered volunteering my time?
That is volunteering your time, because you are communicating with those members. You are taking your time to talk with them, to encourage them, however, to be a part of that membership committee or to serve in some capacity.
Well, to really join the organization is what I'm saying.
Right.
Because I know several retirees, and I would love it if they would join. So they gave me some pamphlets about what the benefits of membership is in this organization.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that that is considered volunteering. I just want to clarify that.
Oh, absolutely. Now, which local are you in?
I'm in Johnston County with Mr. Kenneth Barnett and Dr. Oliver Johnson. I'm sorry, Bennett. Kenneth Bennett. Yeah, and Dr. Oliver Johnson. Yes.
Okay. So they're excited to have you there.
I'm excited to be there.
Yeah, that's good. We need some new young blood, and different people. And I know now she gets people from her sorority, and she kind of takes them a few each year. She has a hard time.
What sorority is that? What sorority is that? I'm an AKA. Who is that? Is that AKA? Hey, all right, AKA. Hey,
and
Alpha
another
Kappa
one,
Alpha.
Lena. Okay, Lena is also an AKA.
Lena.
Our vice president.
Beautiful. Hey, Miss Lena. I'll check with y'all.
Okay, now you had your hand up. That's why you were next. That's why I mentioned you were leaving.
Thank you. In the chat, Hart and Allen had the question, Must an educator have belonged to NCAE in order to join NCRSP? With
No.
that was a question. No, the answer
No.
Gordon is no.
Mhm.
It's hard. I think who is it? I don't see the name was on a few minutes ago. So that's what I wanted to answer that question. Thank you.
Okay. I don't even see it in the chat. Okay.
Oh, there goes Harden down there. Harden, Allen, do you have anything else you want to ask? She's muted. Okay.
Nothing's in the chat.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was in the.
I don't see anything in the chat either. I was wondering.
It may have been a direct communication.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she might have been sending it to me then, but anyway, I know it was in chat, so I'll share her. I'll type back. I'll let her know in the chat. I'll let her know the answer is no then.
Yeah,
Thank you.
send it to everybody because that's a really important thing because we'll get a lot of
then.
people that never join NCAE, so that's not a qualification. Okay, let's go to Paula Harrison, Region 4.
Yes, let's see.
What was your question?
Oh, okay. I thought I had to unmute myself. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just gonna give sort of a qualification for this just to see if I'm understanding it right. Okay, I volunteer at a rest home. I go twice a month and play bingo with the residents. If one of those residents needed a ride to the doctor's office and I went there and picked her up and took her to the doctor's office and stayed with her till her appointment was over and returned her to the rest home, that would be a volunteer hour, wouldn't it? Or 2 hours, whatever. I'm not getting paid for doing that. You know, there's no, and I'm not, okay. That's what I'm thinking. So I don't know if that clarifies that any or not, but as long as you're not getting paid for doing it, or with the potential of getting paid for it. Okay, thank you.
The thing about volunteering, there can be money involved, but it would be that you would receive costs, if it's a cost or something. And I need to go back and look at my notes to more clearly explain that. But it's
maybe the lady said, I'll give you $5 to help you pay for your gas, but something like that.
Accept that.
Yeah.
You can accept that. But when it comes to an hourly wage or something, that is not volunteering.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Pat, again.
Yes. Everybody, hello to everybody. When we're talking about, I think we're talking about volunteer. Must be an allergy down there. I think we're talking about volunteer hours and community service, or however that goes. But if coming to our meetings cannot be considered volunteer time, I hope that we will go back and look at that, because if our folk don't come to the meetings, we don't have anybody and we won't have a meeting. The people that come to our meetings participate and stuff. We open up with them participating. They don't just sit there and just take in information. We ask them to do things. So if that was one of the things, if I heard right, then I hope we'll just go back and not be so, let's loosen up some, because we need people to come to our meetings. We do. So that's just my thought on it.
Linda.
Yeah.
Pat Randall and Pat Reagan are both PR.
I know, at first I thought that was you again.
So we got to figure out how to distinguish. Yes.
I could tell her voice, and I saw you. I didn't see her picture, but I saw yours.
Because I was trying to get my hand down, but I couldn't get my hand down. But I did not know it was Pat Randall.
Yeah, it was Pat Randall, and now she's gone away. Where did she? Pat Randall, are you still there? I don't see your name.
You still here?
Yes, I'm right here.
Oh, down here at the bottom. Okay. I missed you when I did a quick
She may have to put her last
I'm Pat
name.
R. She's Pat Reagan. I'm Pat R. I seldom write my name out. I'm Pat R. most of the time.
Yeah, because if you go up the right hand corner, you can change your name. Well, anyway, I think maybe we brought out some information about community service, and maybe some of that stuff will be looked at. I know Damon's had a lot of experience with that and probably can serve as a mentor to our new chair. So we'll decide some of those things. But I've been at meetings where people did say, you know, the meeting, going to the meeting counted as community service. But we're not giving it for like somebody taking care of their family relative who sick and paying like 24 hours a day. Evelyn, I think she's muted. And does anybody else have, okay, Colleen?
Hilda has a good question in the chat. She wants to know if there's anything specific in writing that shares what could be considered a community service, which is a good idea.
That
There,
is a good idea.
I don't know if everything was transferred to the website, but there was a list. And then information has been given in the past as far as what would qualify or some ideas for volunteering in the community.
So it was on the other website. I bet you that Julia's got it because we got all the files.
Everything that we have about membership is posted. There are some suggested examples on the form itself, and whatever you want added in there, I'll add it in.
Now, on the membership form, we have to approve anything. You're talking about the for community service form?
Community service form.
Yeah, so we would, that, you can't just change that. That would have to come to the committee and everything, and make sure that it's approved. So
Examples are on that form that's been published year after year.
Yeah, they were added. We did add that at some point to give examples.
Okay.
So it's part of the form.
It's on.
Yeah, those forms have been updated, but they're waiting on me to appoint the chair of the committee for next year, so they can put their name on there, because the last year was Sandra Hatley. And so if we put Sandra's name on there and she's not gonna stay on that committee, then everybody would get those sheets early with her name, and they would send it to her in January. And we wanna make sure that everybody's sending it to the correct person. So I'm gonna try to make that decision this week, so that can move. How about that? And we'll look at that list of things. Do you say it's on there? So I'll look at those forms. Let's look at those, Julia. Okay, Valerie.
Yes, I just wanted to share that American Corps is an organization that trains volunteers, and a lot of nonprofit organizations, United Way, Salvation Army, American Red Cross. So they have specific guidelines on what is community service, what is volunteerism, and what is not. And most of the time it's the hands-on work, is not the traveling to volunteer or do the community service. But they have a very good plan, a training specifically for it.
You send that list to me? So they have a list of what counts and what doesn't?
Oh yes, they have an entire training book.
Oh, an entire training book for volunteers?
And community service. Yes, they are for nonprofit. They trained members of nonprofit organizations for community service and volunteerism.
That's AmeriCorps.
AmeriCorps, yeah.
Yes.
Well,
and I haven't been in a good while, so I don't know if it's still the same or there may have been changes. But yes, it's out there.
So Taylor, you're familiar with that?
No, I was just looking at it. And then it's also, I'm looking at some other things here. There's a participant and then there's a volunteer. And so
Yes.
there is the difference between being a participant and
Yes.
volunteering. And that's
Yeah.
where the line is drawn.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, so when I spend 5 hours preparing for a board meeting, then, you know, I'm volunteering.
Mm-hmm.
And then I leave the meeting and I have to prepare all this stuff, and then I call on other people, and then somebody helps me, then they got time. And all that together. Well, let's look at that thing. It seems like you're kind of familiar with that and looked at it. So let's see what we can do about, Ms. Allen?
Oh, hello, my name actually is Iris. I sent my computer in for repair and the repairman put my husband's name on it. So I apologize for that. So I am with the Granville County unit and I have a couple questions. Number one, I volunteer often, but I admit I've been remiss about reporting my hours. So could you tell us again, what is the importance of recording and reporting your volunteer hours?
What is the, I'm sorry, I was distracted a minute.
The importance, why should we report our hours?
When those hours are calculated, first, each local will send in send in the forms to the region, and the region sends them into the state community service chair. And those hours are total. And there is a dollar amount that is comparable for each, or that would be comparable for each volunteer hours. I think it's $25 or $27 in some sense. And so
31 is the current.
So okay, so it has increased. And so what is done is the hours are total and they're multiplied by that amount to determine what the value of the hours are.
And we actually need a public.
And how does that benefit? I mean, okay, from that point on, what is the point? That, I mean, so we're letting people know how much we volunteer and how much our time is worth in dollars and cents.
Right.
And the effect of that is to make people know how valuable retirees are to the community.
Yes.
And how much we give to the community. And when we're going to General Assembly and asking for money, and we need to make a better case of that.
It's a legislative thing.
So
that's the most important part.
Colleagues, yeah.
Yes.
And I was even thinking we could get that a big check or something and take, doesn't have to be the big one like the foundation, but even a smaller one and take it to the governor's office. Just as, and we could even have multiple copies, have one to Speaker Moore, one to Senator Berger. And so it's big enough they can see how many hours, and then we have a sheet that explains that whole thing. Because they need to realize that, we're giving back to the community.
Yes.
And if we weren't doing it, then you might have to hire people to do it. So we're just trying to say that, we are participating members of this community in this state. And hopefully, then you'll think about us and give us a COLA, give us some money.
Yeah. If we decide
It
to stress
sounds like
conference, we could do it then.
I just put it in the
it
chat.
sounds like it's sort of a bargaining tool, which is fine, I have another question. In our local unit, we just had our end of year luncheon and we elected our new officers. And so I want to put an article in the paper because we've had a really difficult time recruiting members, difficult. And I don't know how visible we are in the community. So I wanted to list some things that we do. And I want to direct retirees or newly retired teachers to the website. And I want to make certain I have the website address correct. What is it, please?
NCRSP.org.
Say again?
NCRSP.org.
Oh, that's easy enough. Thank you.
Yeah, just the initials for our organization.
Okay.
And it's also in the chat.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
And we'll get back with you. We need to talk to you because I know who's going to be the president. Is James? Who's your president, Brandon?
My president?
Yeah, who's your president?
Okay. Laura Keith.
Okay. Okay, so that didn't change. Yeah, I know Tama is kind of, she's region director, she's out there working. Anyway, we're working on trying to help our locals to build them and everything, so we can get back with you.
Okay.
And Tama's your region director.
Right. I wasn't able to go to the end of the year event last week. I had a conflict because I really good. When it was Wednesday, it was great. But when it was changed to Thursday, that
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you. Yeah,
Okay,
we
well,
missed you, but you know, we all got installed and we all ate, and so
Oh,
Well,
thank
this is one of the most questions that we've gotten in any of these workshops, I think, although I heard Roger said he got a lot of questions at the end. But so it's just, each committee is a little bit different, and I think the whole thing is, again, we just need local participation. We need people helping in the region, just more hands, because then you can get more things done. And, you know, that's what this training is all about. It just so you know more about your organization. And there'll be another session next week as well.
Linda,
Yes, Simon?
I want to throw another kink in here for everyone that's still on about community service. You cannot claim separate hours if you have a group of people together. Let's say you are working with 4 children. That 1 hour working with 4 children does not count as 4 hours. You can only count that hour one time. We had an individual this past year that was counting every individual child as a whole hour's touch when they were in a group. It doesn't work that way, folks. We would have been billionaires if we'd been paid for all the children we worked with every hour as teachers.
Yeah. And 5,000 hours was kind of jumped right at. Okay, Tammy, you want to make some last?
Yes, and I just wanted to say that we also really need to increase the number of volunteer hours in the category of education. That is, I feel that that would really make a difference in the sense of hours for which someone would really get compensated. You know,
I agree. Second that motion.
Classroom, you know, which is different than volunteering at church, but is this a volunteering? You're giving of your time, but some positions, would someone actually pay you to do that? And when it comes to helping out at a school, whether it's reading with a child, donating that time, those are hours that someone would literally pay if, and that person could possibly get paid if they applied to work part-time. So if we can increase those hours in education, then that would give a little, I think it would just give more weight to what we want the legislators to see, that we consider that valuable time as well.
In some locals, they just support the new beginning teacher. I know in Chatham County, they've got a big project, and they kind of get their members to adopt a beginning teacher. I think the first year they had 50, I think this last year was 60. It's increased quite a bit, but it might have been 25 the first year. But that way you also get into the school, so you kind of get to see who's there, and you might see who might retire, they might want to join, and you kind of get the name of the association out there. If you have shirts, and maybe wear a shirt. If not, maybe somehow distinguish like who you are with a name tag or something. But it's been very great. And then they also help with the breakfast for the new teachers at the beginning of the year in August. So they help the superintendent. I don't think they put any money into it, makes a little bit of tax correctly. And so then they're kind of on the good side of the superintendent, if he needs some volunteers when he puts that breakfast on. And then later in the year, he's gonna help them out. They end up, getting the list of who the retirees are. So it's just another way to get build that neighborhood and get to know everybody. All right, well, I think that, we've had a great session. I've met some new people. That's always good that these new people came on board, and, we welcome you. I guess I'm getting tired here. I appreciate everybody's participation, and, we're always here to help you. Look on the website, you can see who the committee chairs are. You can always send them an email. You need to get up with me, you can get up with me as well. So we're here, and we gotta build this organization, and the only way to do it is by working together.
Money trial barreling toward its conclusion. So we begin today with some of our most favorite reporters and friends here at the table. Do the best.
Okay, so Pat.
Paula Harrison, will you please check your direct mail? I sent you something, please.
Yeah, I see Julia.
I just replied to you.
Okay. Okay, we'll keep up with each other, and we got, at least we got something, some thought involved. Share your experiences, get other people to listen to the recording. So thank you so much. I think we'll just go ahead and end it. It's actually been an hour and a half. So we've got a really long discussion, so this is great. So thank you again. And I'm going to end the meeting. So thank you.
Thank you.